All right, hey guys, we are going to be in the next page of your journals. So if you are in your journals and you look, so we have the guided practice, the pink, and then next to that should have been your card sort. So then this should be on page 6, okay, of your journals. And so you're going to put this whole thing on the one on the left side, and then Miss Baker will work through equations and practice on the right side of your notes. So everything that we do today in class should be in your journal. Okay. All right. So the first thing we're going to talk about is when we have an equation. So what makes it an equation? Well, an equation is when you have an equal sign, a less than or greater than sign, a less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to sign. So that creates a equation / inequality. Okay, so when we are solving equations, there are 6 steps essentially that you can do. Now, you do not have to do every single step. Okay, it just is based off of what the equation has been given you. So these are your steps. So your first step, and I'm going to take up the entire page, by the way, guys. So if you want to write your steps out the entire page, you can. If not, no worries. Okay, so step 1 is you are going to draw a line through the equal sign. Okay, and so in this case, you are going to you have the equal sign, you're going to draw a line through that, or your less than sign, or your greater than sign. Regardless, what you are doing, guys, is one, separating your left side of your equation and your right side of your equation visually, okay? And it's to tell you, hey, I have an equation here, so therefore I can get to a single number value, okay? Whereas if last week we talked about an expression, you have no equal sign, so therefore you can only get an expression out of that, okay? You can only simplify it. But when we solve, we can get to a number value, okay? Then we have step 2. So after you draw a line, you have step 2, which is distribute. So you are only going to distribute if you see parentheses. So this is the same thing for simplifying, by the way, okay? So when we are solving equations and when we are simplifying equations, your first 2 steps are the same regardless, okay? So if I see parentheses, whether I have an expression or an equation, I still need to do that first, okay? So remember, when I distribute, I make sure I multiply, okay, everything outside the parentheses to everything to the inside of the parentheses, okay? So step 3 is after you distribute, again, like expressions, you are going to combine like terms. So, and this is on the same side. So this is why you draw your line, by the way, to separate the left and the right side, because then it lets you know, hey, everything over here belongs to the left side, everything over there belongs to the right side. Okay, so I'm going to combine my like terms on the same side of the equation. So step 1, 2, and 3, guys, is all separate sides. So left side, I'm going to distribute and combine like terms. Right side, I'm going to distribute and combine like terms. Then step 4 is when we start moving things left and right. Okay, so again, step 2 and 3 belong to both expressions and equations. But step 4, 5, and 6, what we are about to go over, it's only what you can do if you have an equation. So when you have an equal sign, okay? So again, you're not always going to do every single step. You just have to ask yourself, do I need to do this? Like, do I have parentheses to distribute? Do I have like terms to combine? This next one is we're going to move the variable. What's a variable? An unknown value of a number, so it's replaced as a letter. So we're going to move the letter to the left. Okay, so again, these are things that only can be done if we have an equation. Okay, so we have a left side and a right side. Okay, when we move our variable to the other side of the equation, the opposite side of the equation, we have to use the opposite sign. Okay, so when we move something to the left or to the right, we have to use the opposite sign. So in this case, if I have a negative 3x on the right side and I want to move it to the right side, or the left side, sorry, I'm going to add that 3x over. Okay, so you always have to do the opposite sign that's in front of the variable. All right, so step 5 again is not always going to happen, but once we move our variable to the left, we need to move our constant. So remember, a constant is a number that is alone, so just like plus 7 or minus 10, okay, to the right. So again, because I'm moving it across the equal sign, I have to use the opposite sign. That does not change. Okay, so again, so let's kind of back up. So 1, we're going to draw a line through our equal sign. We are going to distribute, which means multiply, only if you see parentheses. Okay, we're going to combine like terms on the same side. So like terms means like all the x's are together, all of the constants are together. Okay, and then move variables to the left, move constants to the right. Step 4 and 5 are used with opposite signs. So if it's a positive number, I'm going to subtract it over. If it's a negative number, I'm going to add it over. And then last but not least, what you should have left is the variables on the left equaling the constants on the right. When you only have that left, we divide. Sometimes we will multiply, okay, but more times than not, you will divide. And what you are dividing by is the coefficient on the variable. So divide by the coefficient. Coefficient, remember, is the big number in front on the variable. All right. So one thing I do not have on our copy of notes on Google Classroom is the kind of solutions you can have. So I will add that. Okay, so the solutions that you can have with equations, by the way, is you can have x equaling a number. So meaning you can have one solution. You can have no solution, or you can have infinitely many solutions. So one solution will obviously mean when I have x equals a number, so x equals 2 or x equals negative 5, okay? No solution means when I am solving and my variables cancel out if the statement is not true. So this means it is a untrue statement. So meaning like 5 equals 2. That's not true. So an untrue statement would get us no solution. Infinitely many solutions would give us a true statement. Sorry, I'm writing really tiny. So this would mean that negative 2 equals negative 2. Well, that's true. So that means it's infinitely many solutions. So when we get there, I will Miss Baker or I will explain that. But just know that the kinds of solutions you can have are one solution, which 9 times out of 10 it's like that, no solution, or infinitely many solutions. All right, so that's the end of our notes. Again, everything right here should have gone on the left side of your journal. On the right side of your journal, you and Miss Baker will work through some examples. Bye, guys.